I made snacks. Hopefully these aren't poison.
We'll find out.
Oh, okay. This
Do
is
you
gonna
need help with this,
maybe.
baby?
Do you want to like pull the rubber, the top part off, and carefully? Because
Yeah.
you want to not get the sticks with it.
Yeah, but it's a little sticky on some of them.
Yeah.
They're a little frozen.
Okay. I made
Hopefully.
some snacks for today. Oh boy.
I'm working on. I'm
Yep,
doing what
yep.
I can.
Ooh. Oh.
Look, I'm
Oh no,
trying
it's
really
working.
hard.
It's working. No, you're doing good. You're doing good. Oh god.
I need more hands or something.
No, you're good.
There
You're
we
doing
go.
great. You're doing
yeah.
I'm glad the sticks are holding. Actually, I wasn't
Jesus
really sure
Christ.
about that. Huh.
This is like fighting back so aggressive.
There you
we go.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. Now we have to pull these out.
You're it.
I got gloves on.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Do you want to try? Do you wanna-
I mean, I'll give it a shot.
I
All
mean,
right.
I'm already goopy.
I can
guess.
hold on
Alright,
to
if
the-
Sarah's already got shit in her hands.
I'm already
go for it.
goopy.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll give it a go.
Oh no, I mean like pull with the stick, I guess.
I'm just worried it'll like.
I'll kind of pinchy from the
The
bottom there.
stick is 1,000,000,000% just gonna come out.
Oh, oh.
I mean, so the best way to do this would really.
I'm trying to break the seal on the side.
You gotta run
Like
hot water
yeah.
on the outside.
God, they're slimy.
I know. Oh. You almost got it. You're so close. Jiggle it.
I'm jiggling.
Jiggle it back and forth.
I'm jiggling. God.
You almost got it. You almost got it.
No, I don't.
Now I
can feel it
understand why they
giving
were
away
so
here.
sad in Kingdom Hearts.
I'm pushing from the bottom.
This was the hardest thing to ever do.
Oh my God! Wow. How is it still stuck?
Yeah, how is it still in the same form?
There we go.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
Yay!
Right, So yeah, squeeze from the
got
very bottom is the
one.
trick. So.
Jesus Christ, this does not want to release.
All right. Here we go.
Oh my goodness, be prepared for a workout, Jeffrey.
All right. Oh, that one's coming a lot easier.
I think I figured it out.
Oh,
Yep.
did you get
That
the
looks pretty good.
magic?
You know
the
what?
magic wiggle?
Aside from the pinchy, which is me right now, that actually looks pretty goddamn good.
I broke the seal.
I was trying. See what I mean? You
Yep.
just gotta really. You
Yep.
need like another hand involved in this. You sure?
Yep.
Ooh, I don't know if you just want a straight pull.
Hang on, almost got it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You can do it. I believe in you.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So close.
Here's my ring
3
fit for the
quarters.
day.
2/3, 3/4. There you go. Almost. Yeah.
You mean back up?
Yay.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
It's not my fault. You did it.
We got to put this on the table somewhere here. I don't know if that's
All
easier
right.
for you. All right. Let's see. Oops, sorry. How these taste. They might be horrible. They look pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
They did pretty well on shape.
I mean, it looks like food.
It does look like food.
So that's a
Well,
step in the right
it's a thing.
direction.
My instinct of that being very cornstarchy was right.
Oh, you can
Yeah.
really taste the salt.
Weird. Mine doesn't taste. Mine tastes salty, but not like overwhelmingly salty. Salty, but sweet.
And
This isn't half bad.
cornstarchy.
And cornstarchy. The cornstarch was a
It's
problem.
aggressively cornstarchy.
Outside of that, though, I don't hate this. I'm actually kind of. I've never made. I haven't made ice cream since I was 7. So
It's a no churn cornstarch gelatin.
this is the binging with Babish recipe. Not quite done correctly, but very
I
close.
mean, I think it came out more or less right.
This is pretty good. I actually kind of like this.
Okay.
I think the cornstarch was done wrong on my end, and I need to fix that. But otherwise, this is
I mean, I
actually
think you should just get an ice cream thing and then make the
yes,
churn
yeah.
version. But
Otherwise,
like,
though, this
that's
was
me.
pretty palatable. Actually, I kind of dig the salty and the sweet together. Jeff is not liking this.
It's interesting.
Jeff's like,
Yeah.
face
It's
it.
like-
Yay, friendship,
it's-
Jeffrey.
I'm not used to this kind of a combination of.
It's definitely food.
Honestly, you know what it reminds me of is when, have you ever gotten like McDonald's soft serve ice cream and then taken your french fries and dipped it in like the ice cream and eaten them?
Yeah.
Have you ever gone into the bakery and then snuck behind the counter and licked the counter where they make treats?
Yeah,
It's covered with flour and salt.
yeah, there's
Yes.
the base components are actually really
This is
noticeable
very
in this,
floury, to be dead honest.
which is the cornstarch. Yeah. No, that's fine. The cornstarch definitely didn't finish with what it was supposed to do.
I think they
I'm
also
gonna
had
keep
you put
trying.
a lot in to like make it hold a shape, which I think might not be helping.
Might need less, and it needed more time on
pass
heat.
me that paper towel piece there.
Oh, whoop. There you go.
Thank you. My hands are a little sticky. I'm gonna need to wash.
So we watched.
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
All right.
I'll be fine.
You seem more determined than me to eat this. I'm not.
My body will be perfectly preserved.
With all the
It'll
salt.
be salted.
It actually, the salty sweet combination
Jeffrey,
reminds
you
me of
don't have to eat it.
It
Jeff.
reminds me of salted caramel kind of stuff.
No, the thing is, I kid, but at the same time, it's almost there.
It is.
I can see the direction that it's going in,
Yeah.
but it took
Honestly-
a left at Salt and Cornstarch Boulevard.
Yeah, I think the cornstarch is really what's killing it here. The salt isn't terrible.
Honestly, if I was trying to figure out a recipe for this, I probably would have looked up a sweet cream ice cream recipe.
They did actually recommend,
and then just kind of add sea salt to it,
That
and
was-
then
well, there was an indication in the end that you can also add vanilla to this if it doesn't seem sweet enough. So it's okay, all right, that might be something
I'm
to do
just
with
saying I
another
would have
one.
looked up because there are specifically recipes that are not vanilla ice cream but sweet cream ice cream.
Probably would have
right?
dug a flavor.
So I
in
would
it.
have. I
Aside
think the
from,
idea was they just kind of called it salty
sea salt,
and
yeah.
sweet,
But
so it
vanilla-
was sea salt ice cream, and
Vanilla-
that was the flavor.
Vanilla would give it some actual base flavor for the sea salt to play off of, I
Yes.
think.
No, I do agree.
No one gets salt cookies; they get sea salt and caramel cookies. There's another flavor that's kind of forming the base.
I also feel like you went a little more green. I would have gone a little more blue.
This
in
is all
there,
blue.
Personally,
It is entirely pastel blue food coloring.
it just looks a little greenish. I think I would have put
That might
a
be the
little
lights.
of the
The lights are very yellow in here.
I'm taking a bite of the bottom of yours, Sarah, just to compare.
Just in case, it might not be even.
God, you bite ice cream, people. You're making me uncomfortable.
It's all lip. Okay. That has less salt than mine, I think.
Oh, did you just get a salty ass popsicle?
Maybe.
Poor Jeff being all yeah, guys, this is great. Oh, God.
Oh, it's ice cream. And I'm like,
I'm into it.
that's fine.
If I'm in Japan, if I ever see sea salt ice cream, I'm going to go for it because it'll
think
taste
it'll
at
be
least
better.
better than this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I would eat this as a treat. So if they're better than this, then
Well,
I'm all for
that's
it.
good. You
Call
can
it
eat
a proof
these, and
of
I'll eat the
concept.
good ice cream bars that I purchased from the store.
But we watched Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2.
I did not realize that was 3 hours long.
That's it.
Jeffrey, no.
I'm like, maybe the salt all settled at the top, and then I just bit from the middle and was like, nope, it all settled into everywhere.
Oh my god.
Okay, sorry to interrupt what we're actually doing here.
No, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I need 82 gallons of water.
What I was saying was I hadn't actually realized it was 3 hours long before going in.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was going to be hour and a half, 2 hours long.
No.
No.
And I really kind of only realized that it was still going at hour 2, which isn't that bad, honestly, for a 3 hour thing. When,
Yeah.
So it was.
It felt like it was
could've
moving
been
along
worse.
until around the 2 hour mark. All of a sudden, it settled in my brain. I'm like, oh, we're still here, and we're got a ways to go.
I think a good way to
Uh-oh.
kick this off would be to read the notes that Jeff took.
Oh, yeah, you can read my
Oh, yeah.
notes.
These are Jeffrey's notes. Kingdom Hearts movie thing. Where is Goofy? Xion has the best hair. Don't bite ice cream, Rick.
I feel like a teenage girl getting her diary read.
No day 69.
Yeah, they skipped day 69. Bullshit.
It was not nice.
The hood on off Xion thing is cool. See, this is where we
We're
get
going
some
to talk
actual
about that.
real
That's gonna come
commentary.
up,
This
because
is
that was cool and very relevant.
Yeah.
to the actual
cool
story.
and very relevant and very fucking confusing.
well,
Which
but
was the
confusing
idea,
in
but-
a
Which was the
good,
idea, and then
in
Yeah.
a good
Xion
way.
is confusing is Jeffrey's next note.
Literally,
Yes.
when we got to the hood part, everybody was like, wait. I think even Ben was also.
Yeah, we
just
were all like, wait, is this
hang
a
on.
bug? Wait, what?
Yeah.
We were super
Glitching?
confused.
Ansem Diz is kind of a dick.
He really is.
Yeah, he's a bit of an asshole in this story.
He caused
Yeah.
all these problems, and he still has the arrogance to be like, huh, shut up. Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's like a dick.
This is so long.
Oh, yes, that was a note.
Around the 2 hour mark, presumably.
Yep, presumably. The plot is actually neat, but unnecessarily complex. True fact. True fact.
Yeah.
Still no fucking Goofy.
And that's where I stopped
And
taking
Finn.
notes, because once that became clear, and
What was the point?
there should be an addendum.
Yeah.
Technically, Goofy's name was said once,
It was
and his
right near the
ass
end.
was shown,
It's true.
not his face.
Yeah.
There was a
his
scene
butt like ran
from Kingdom Hearts
slow-mo.
1.
There was a slow-mo
Through.
scene where I got to watch my sweet prince run away from me, and then it was never
I'm gonna
again.
go join Riku.
Goodbye.
Oh God. Well, so right off the top, without diving into spoilers yet, can one of you give me a basic premise for this?
Oh gosh. I guess basically kind of the other half of Chain of Memories. God, what do we even define as spoilers though? Like, there's like some basic facts that like they just start. Like,
I think. All right. So anything that would not be a spoiler, anything that would be a spoiler to someone who's played 1, Chain of Memories, and 2,
but
would
not
still be a spoiler.
3, 5,
Okay,
8 over
So like
2.
Roxas's identity is not a spoiler because it was revealed already in 2.
That's what I mean. It's like, so like the Roxas is kind of Sora thing. So like while Sora's going through all of the Chain of Memories things, this is sort of what Roxas is doing during all of that time.
Yeah.
And all of like, and you see all these hints in like Kingdom Hearts 2 of like Axel and Roxas being buddies and
Yeah.
stuff, and like this actually like cements a lot of that friendship and like explains a lot of that, and you also get a lot more cool memory nominee type stuff that again goes with that whole mirror of Chain of Memories kind of feel. And I think I feel like that kind of is the best summary I can give without getting into actual plot.
I guess that makes sense. I feel like for me it would be sort of like essentially everything else that happened between 1 and 2 that wasn't Chain of
I
Memories.
just feel like it was very much like a mirror of it
in a lot of
many
ways, which is
right?
thematically
Which is-
appropriate.
right, exactly.
For what
I
we're going to
just-
be talking about.
I'm just saying, like, I think that's, very much, yeah.
No, that makes sense. So I guess we should start sort of from the beginning, right? So it's not just because it focuses on Roxas, but it's not entirely about Roxas. If anything, like Xion, like Roxas is our protagonist, and Xion is our mystery. Xion, sorry.
Show.
They
Xion,
have so many different
Depending upon who you ask.
pronunciations.
Yeah.
Pronunciations all over.
I would definitely say that, though Roxas is the protagonist, this movie segment really does focus a lot more on Xion and like fleshing
is she
and
here?
connecting the story that
Yeah.
like persists through the game for her.
And I feel like that's kind of my whole argument with the Kingdom Hearts games in the first place, where it's like these story chunks that you set up, all this complex, weird story things you do, it's fine when you just sit down and watch them all together, because then you can put all those pieces together like we're
Sure.
doing here. But when it's interspersed with like 6 hours of gameplay in between each time you're getting one of these clues, it
does
makes
get-
it fucking impenetrable.
Yeah. I will
That's
say
what drives me crazy.
I will say, and we'll get into why as we go, but I feel like, weirdly enough, outside of Kingdom Hearts 1, and in some ways even better than Kingdom Hearts 1, I feel like this did the best job so far of creating a mystery and unraveling the mystery and leaving no real loose ends at the end of it. Partly because you know what happens in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, without that, there are some loose ends, but like...
Yeah, Chain of Memory is similar, but they do kind of set up some of the mysteries that are going on in 2.
They also leave on a cliffhanger, too.
Yes.
Which this
Which,
sort
yeah.
of does for 2.
I
but-
think the problem and a caveat we have to mention for almost the entire series
back a little.
and something we discussed slightly was that Kingdom Hearts as a storyline and as a series plays a lot with vague and unanswered questions.
Yeah.
Drives me a
That
little crazy.
it's just part of how the story
I
is
know
written.
your Kingdom Hearts 1 doesn't really do that, though.
No, it's a much more
Kingdom
pure
Hearts
story.
1 is just kind of like, we're doing this thing. There's some vague weirdness with, like, the Xemnas stuff.
Yeah.
But even that, like, they don't bring in the whole, like, he's a weird copy clone, thing until 2. In 1, that's, like, kind of a retcon.
It is a
Yeah.
bit of
Like-
a retcon where it's like, here is Ansem, and it's like, no, secretly there was an actual Ansem. This
Secretly,
is a
he
fake
wasn't.
Ansem.
Yeah.
the wrong
and it's like
Ansem.
the way they explain
Yeah.
it, they're not actually technically retconning anything.
In universe, it's not
It's
a retcon;
just-
it's an explanation. But out of universe, it's
It's
clearly
100%
a
a
retcon.
retcon,
They
right.
had an idea. Here's what Ansem is, and then they decided, wait, no, hang on, scrap that. Ansem is actually this whole other thing, but here's how we slot in so that has a reason to work.
So
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
one of the reasons I like this movie, game collection of game
Movie game
whatever
coup.
cutscenes with interstitial title cards in between, whatever you
Yeah.
call this.
Those
Indeed,
fit a lot
indeed.
better in the game. Here they're sort of chapter cards, but they're so randomly sized that
Right.
it gets hard to deal with.
But so one of the reasons I liked it is because it did backfill a bunch of story, and like seeing it in order, like you were saying, not interrupted by an hour-long boss fight and
Yeah.
grind through an area, really does hammer home the flow of the plot a bit better. So a lot was illuminated, but
Yeah.
at the same time, there were also questions that I didn't even know I had.
Now
That
you're
came
like,
up
wait a
during the
minute.
thing, and I'm like, "Fuck you! This is supposed to be the illuminating thing that
Yeah.
gives me the like plot," and now they're kind of like, you know,
Just kidding.
seeing it all lined up. I'm like, "Wait, there's even more questions I didn't even remember to
That's
ask
kind of
the
the
first
like,
time."
you know,
like,
and remember, like Kingdom Hearts 2 answers some of those, and don't forget we're gonna have Kingdom Hearts 3,
Yes.
and like that's why they do all like I feel like they're trying to continue
Yes.
the threads of their story.
I guess
I
there
just
are
get frustrated by it.
there are two loose ends that I'm realizing, and maybe we'll get into it a little bit further in as we talk more into spoilers. But
Yeah.
there are two loose ends that are left over. I guess they're not loose ends, but they're kind of one is a loose end, one is something that actually expands the universe a little bit that wouldn't have been there otherwise. But I guess do we want to kind of walk through the plot a bit? It's a little hard to follow because it is so disjointed. Maybe that's where we
God.
start.
are we talking walk through the plot of the entirety of Kingdom Hearts?
No, just this.
just
Hey,
358
Just
over
this
2.
movie thing. I don't know what to call it exactly. It's not really a movie. It's a cinematic sequence
feature.
something.
So yeah,
So I guess
who knows?
to start with, I feel like this helped illuminate, I guess, some of the problems with the plot. Where very late in, I guess to jump forward briefly to the most egregious one, Axel and Xion have a fight that ends with Roxas trying to get them to stop, which distracts Xion, and Axel karate chops her in the back of the head.
Oh god,
And
that
then
was
drags her
weird.
unconscious body back to the world that never was. Where did my gloves go? Movie magic. Anyway,
Yeah.
Roxas is sitting on the clock tower by himself, and then gets joined by Axel, and then by Xion. And they don't say anything, and it's an awkward moment, which it would be, but it's weird that they're there together. And then the next day, Roxas goes to the clock tower and has a discussion with Xion about, like, aren't you mad that Axel attacked you? And it's like, where was this discussion yesterday?
And she's
Maybe
like,
he didn't
no.
feel comfortable saying anything about it in front of Axel, and
I
like that
guess,
was the problem.
But he was like
right?
dazed. He wasn't like going, "Oh, haha," or anything. It was just like
I don't know, shock. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was just kind of weird to me.
it was
I don't know.
strange that
It
I
was
mean,
strange.
So my problem with that, again, without really getting to spoilers, just talking about like the nature of the game in movie
Yeah.
form. There was very much like a rising. Oh goddamn! There was a rising action and then a falling action and then it rose
And then it
again.
came again, and then-
it fell and we're like, oh, okay, this is the god,
Whoa,
wait,
wait a
no,
minute.
rising again, and
Yep.
then it ended.
I
And we were like-
agree.
Yeah.
a number of times there were points where important characters were fighting or having conflicts or or realizing things about themselves.
Or being rebellious.
And then
or-
it would happen, and then 2 days later, they're back on that fucking clock tower eating sea
Yeah.
salt ice cream.
Friendship.
Not like it's impossible to talk to people after some of these things happen, but I feel like
Yeah.
the things needed to change. And I kept feeling like the setup was coming for like the final act
Some kind of
the thing
confrontation.
where it's like, oh yeah, here's where this like, plays out. And again, it's a slightly different
How many
experience for
times can
me.
people get mad at Axel for hiding stuff from them before they finally go, actually, I'm tired of you hiding shit
This
from
time
me.
I
Actually,
don't
I'm gonna
forgive
just
you.
walk away.
Yeah.
So bye.
I mean, it's a very different experience watching this for me, having watched some of the 358 over 2 streams, but not like consistently.
Yeah.
And I don't think you may have seen a few,
I
but
didn't
you
watch,
never
like, any
played
of
358 over 2. Yeah.
No, I just I played the shit out of Kingdom Hearts 1, and that game was great. And
Yep.
it's just such a better done story, and like you weave the story through all the different like Disney movies you go through, and like it's just really good. And then I played Chain of Memories, which is also really solid. And then I played Kingdom Hearts 2 because like they just came out, all together. Kingdom Hearts 2 was nowhere near as good in my opinion, but like still fun. And then they just kind of fucking like abandoned North America for multiple years.
Yeah.
And I just kind of lost interest.
any kinds of release or anything like that. I mean, it got. It to me feels like the happenstance of an anime getting past where the manga is written to, and then they're like, well, we got all these ideas, let's do them. And then instead of having a
Absolutely.
cohesive vision, they just did ideas, and then later they were like, oh, wait.
We're supposed to
that
stitch
thing
these pieces
can tie
together.
into
Yeah.
this thing, and then this, they meet here, and then this guy from over here comes in, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, my knuckle.
It's like, how'd that feel?
Not
We
great.
also were talking about this a bit while watching this movie. It really
Yeah.
only feels like they had a concrete idea for like 5 or 6 of the Organization 13 members.
Yeah.
There's like maybe 7 of them.
Half of them are fucking
Five,
chaff.
5 to 7 of them where you're like, why do you exist? And there's even a point in the movie where we're like, holy shit, this guy has never come up.
Yeah,
forgot
Zalden-
about-
Shows up
Zalden is
randomly.
basically not there for the entire story until the final week.
He's not in any cutscenes, like
Yep.
from the game.
Yeah.
There's no cutscenes. Like those are all from the game.
And like, sure, there's the like half of the organization that like gets killed or
Yep.
whatever, and like that's some of the people that they like obviously are not bothering to really build up as characters because they die. But
they're fodder.
yeah, it still just feels really weird that they went to the trouble. I don't know, in some ways for some of them, it's like this guy's here, but he doesn't ever matter. Like sitar player guy.
Oh, Demix.
Demix.
I only know. I only
Demix,
remember
yeah.
Demix because he's such a fucking dork in this and Kingdom Hearts 2 for the 4 seconds he's in the game.
I only remember him
This is
because
what
his
I mean.
boss fight was hard.
Yeah, especially the second one.
In the
That
Yeah,
was rough.
super extra
Echo
powered
thing,
version.
Yeah, the little absent silhouette zone, whatever.
yeah.
Boss
Um,
rush, yeah.
So I guess So if you're curious how we're kind of doing this review, I think the idea is first we're kind of looking at it as as much
A
as we
piece of
can as a
media?
piece of media, and
Okay.
then we're going to look at it as how it actually relates to the Kingdom Hearts franchise overall, and how it does in terms of lacing things together. So, as a movie,
oh dear.
from the broadest strokes, it really does not have
Does not have a great.
the narrative is so hard to follow. It's actually, from my perspective, it was actually a little harder to follow than the game, because at least during the battle segments, there are brief interactions with other members of the organization, and you have a chance to soak in some of the bigger moments.
Yeah.
And you do feel the passage of time a little more, as opposed to, oh, here's a 1 minute thing. Okay, we're on the next day. Oh, here's 10 minutes of stuff. Okay, cool. Oh, here's a 2 minute thing, and now we've jumped forward a month. And it's just like,
yeah,
wait,
'cause all you
so
get
much.
is just the little like number scroll.
Yeah, I think with the game, you feel the passage of time a little bit more like linearly and but the story it's tough to digest. It makes sense to me on the second viewing, but there were parts of it that definitely were like, wow, you did not. Oh boy.
I
I
don't
feel
remember
like
that
it's
whatsoever.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing where you see it and you're like, oh, that did not stick with me the first time I saw it.
Well, it's also definitely one of those things where sometimes they put in like clues and information that doesn't make sense to you until after you've seen the reveal,
Sure.
whatever it
Yeah.
might be. And then you go back and you're like, oh, this sequence that looked really weird, like now this makes perfect sense. Now I understand what they were doing here and why it looked this way. And like, this isn't just like strange choices. This is
Yeah.
actually meaningful.
Well, perhaps
But like, you don't know until on the second watch through.
Well, like the hood. I guess we should start.
Yeah, I was trying to
Diving
stay out of
into those, but
spoiler territory.
We may as
still.
well. There's so much like they
it's
really.
so hard to not.
Yeah, it's a
with
dense.
this.
If you haven't seen
Yeah.
it, this is spoiler time.
I was
Either
just
you can
waiting
play
for
the
them to do
game.
that.
Yeah, either you can play the game or
Let me do what?
I
oh,
don't know
yeah.
how much. I don't know how much of it will actually show. So you may have to go and look up the actual video, or if you buy Kingdom Hearts 1.5 remix or 1.5 and 2.5 remix, it'll be on there.
Yeah.
Actually, I
Strap
think
in
this
for
is
3 hours,
2.5. This
though.
will be 2.5 remix, I think.
Set aside some
No, actually
time.
2.5. Anyway, yeah, it's 3 hours. So there's a point fairly early on where the three of them are hanging out on the clock tower, and
The
anytime,
third person being Xion.
Yeah, the three of them.
Yes.
So it's Axel, Sora, and Xion.
Roxas.
Did I say Sora? Sorry,
Yes.
Roxas.
We know they're the same person.
Yeah.
but
Same
it's,
fucking-
So
Yeah.
anytime Roxas is speaking, you see Xion the way that he does, which is looking like a dark-haired Kairi or Namine looking person. Anytime Axel speaks, you see her as he sees her at the time, which is just a hooded, shadowy figure.
Yeah, with a very nondescript face.
Yeah,
that
it's
you
like
can't
all you can
really
see is
tell.
kind of like a vaguely, pointy mouth and lips and stuff.
Which
and
does
like,
beg the question of what he thinks is happening when she does this.
Right?
It's just like a two really long hair that she's pushing back inside her hood.
Yeah, or maybe they didn't want to render
fair,
her with
we
a
never-
blank face or something. I don't know.
We never see her take her hood down in any of those sequences. She just has her hood down for Roxas and has her hood up for Axel. So, like, a lot of those times I have to imagine she's never actually physically removing a hood at all.
Yeah, I think she enters with her face looking like that.
I mean,
in a lot of scenes.
I was hoping so much that they would pull the hood back and her face would be weirdly blurred, like a squished up weird image or just like pixelated blurriness, because that would really hammer home the fact.
Or sort of like blankish, yeah.
Yeah, or just, you know,
That oval shape.
a skin oval. Yeah, no face
Blank,
actually on there.
Maybe a little bit of form to it, but it's otherwise
Yeah,
just blank.
vaguely face-ish
Which
shape.
to
Yeah.
me would make it a lot like creepier and also endearing at the same time that Roxas really likes Xion, and to his eye, he's like palling around with this cute girl who's got hair and pulls her hood off and has bright eyes and like likes interacting with him.
Everyone else like mannequin.
But to everybody else, he's hanging out with this weird, like, scary looking, like pixelated face mannequin, and they're just like, "Why the fuck
what
do you
the
like that
hell?
weird
What's
thing?"
wrong with you?
Yeah. It doesn't creep you out? And he's like, no, she's beautiful. It's like, what? Nah.
Concern, yeah.
The weirdest part to me, and I know that they like this is meant as a game first, but like the entire middle half, so from the 1/4 mark to the 3/4 mark, felt like it stretched things out so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's
And
like
I feel like that's what Jeff was getting at with his like up and down and up and down. Because
Yeah.
to stretch it out, they kept having to be like, and a thing happened, and then you
Yeah.
have a fight, never mind, and a thing happened,
It was
and
a
then never
long
mind, you never
string.
have a fight, and you're like, Jesus,
it was a
fucking
long
Christ.
string of Axel or Xion learning stuff about Xion. He hides it. It gets you know take
Friends argue.
Yeah, they argue and then they go back to eating ice cream, and it's that on loop for so much of that. Granted, I actually really like near the
You could have
beginning.
cut out like a good half hour, 45 minutes of that. Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess going through it a little more sequentially, they jump into Castle Oblivion very quickly. 3 weeks in.
is true.
They make note of it very quickly.
They
yeah.
dive into Castle Oblivion. A bunch of them go, and you find out that Cyax actually
Cyax.
Six.
sent Axel with the explicit instructions to destroy everybody. That they're traitors from the organization. Or at least he said the traitors
doesn't say
among
destroy,
them.
Yeah, he doesn't say destroy
Yes.
everybody. He says kill all the traitors.
kill all the traitors.
basically.
So the point of him sending them all to Castle Oblivion was to expose the traitor.
Yeah.
But realistically, what Cyax's plan was for all of them to die.
Yep.
He really did not want Axel to come back. And
I assume he was kind of hoping for like mutual assured destruction.
Yes.
kind
Yeah,
of thing.
everyone
he
kill each
sent
other and Sora
Axel
would
to
sweep
be
up the
like,
rest.
if any of them expose themselves as a traitor, obviously during the mission, then of course you'll kill them. And Axel would be like, yeah, of course. Like, I have no compunction
Sure,
with that.
yeah.
I
They're
think the only
trying to kill us or something.
I think the only non-traitors that were there, Axel, who was sent for that, though he has his own motivation, so he does kind of count. Vexen, who was, if I remember correctly, not only legitimately in league with the rest of the organization, like proper, but he was also acting as a traitor among the traitors, I think. I think both Axel and Vexen were acting as traitors amongst the traitors.
very much wild cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
double
then Vexen...
agent thing.
Vexen tried to warn Sora away for one reason or another, and that was enough. I forget if Axel was the one who actually killed him, or if it was Marluxia.
Isn't that in Chain of
That's
Memories
Chain of
somewhere?
Memories, yeah.
This
Yeah.
is sounding vaguely
I'm
familiar.
trying to remember how that
me.
went down. But like Marluxia, I think Cyax knew was a traitor, and that was why it was like, Marluxia, you're in charge of Castle Oblivion. Take these 6 people and go.
Yeah, part of me almost wants to like sit down and play Chain of Memories and play 358 over 2 and then
Yep.
be like, okay, because I feel like that would help it make a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think Larxene didn't give a shit either. She just liked hurting people, so they were like, I don't know. Decide what you want to do with her. Yeah, I think playing them is a little bit more enlightening, just because this one starts and you got the full organization, and then maybe 15 minutes in,
Yeah, a bunch
half
of
the
them
organization
die.
gets sent away, and then you find out 10 minutes later that they're dead.
They all got murked.
Except for one,
Axel.
who also helped send Namine away. Though this doesn't really explicitly state that. They just have him coyly dodge when
He's
it's
all
like, how did Namine...
What?
Yeah, Sykes like, I think you know how Namine got away, and he's like, what?
Hey, what are you talking about?
Not me. I don't know
It's
anything
the
about
weirdest
that.
Like,
thing.
okay.
Solid Snake 13 was standing there and reporting to
Z-
Discount
Zigbar?
Sephiroth.
Yep.
I literally don't care about their names anymore.
No, that's fair.
I've now tried for 6 games and I can't remember any of Organization 13. So
Dude, this is the best I've ever done.
Solid Snake is talking to Axel and Discount Sephiroth, and Solid Snake's like, I bet you know how they got away, and Axel is like, oh, no, I don't know. She just kind of like slipped away. And instead of challenging that, Solid Snake is just like, oh, yeah, I guess she did. And then walks away. And
Sounds
I'm like,
legit to
what
me.
Are you what are you doing? And
Well,
then
actually-
less than 2 minutes later, there's a cutscene where he gets all shitty at Axel. And he's like, I know you let her get away. And I was like, why didn't you expose him in front of Discount Sephiroth?
Well, it forms a nice. It actually
I
has.
actually don't know who that one's name is. I know he's blue hair, pointy ears man. But
There's a
like,
nice
the counter to Axel.
Yeah, I know. Blue hair's pointy ear man. I just don't know his name.
There's a nice counterpart to that interaction though with Xion near the end of the game, where Xion and Xigbar do battle. Xigbar comments on like, how come I see his face?
Is Xigbar Hulk Hogan?
No, Xigbar
is Captain Snake.
Captain Snake.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
He sees Roxas's face with an interesting shoulder pauldron. This is one of the 2 things I wanted to talk about, though.
Oh, yeah.
He has a shoulder piece that, and actually, I think I may have an idea what that means, because Roxas never has that, and Sora never has that. It does look enough like the armor that Xion wears in the final battle with Xion that maybe that's what they were looking at, was like Xion was like
starting
like,
to show
Yeah.
her like underlying form or something like that. Okay.
But anyway, Xigbar gets his ass kicked and then goes back with Axel after he lets Xion get away. And then again, he's like, this guy over here is sucking his thumb while Xion ran away. Like, it's a mirror of that same interaction with the same people too, basically. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't even realize the mirroring that was going on.
And neither of them
there.
are mad or pissy about it.
Xigbar's just
so
like, I'm going to bed. I
weird.
don't give a shit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to my room, I
Yeah.
think is what he says.
He just did not give a shit. He's like, fine,
yeah, whatever, bye.
Yeah. There was something that I noticed, actually. We've talked about the blank face thing at this point. While we were watching it, I noticed, so Namine at one point is drawing Axel and Roxas and Xion, and has Roxas done and Axel done, and comes to Xion, and then goes to draw her face and then stops and doesn't actually draw a face. The scene ends before she does anything there, which is kind of a neat little bit of foreshadowing of like, oh yeah, because Xion doesn't have a face. Not really.
Not exactly.
Yeah, but then there's a face later.
But then
There is
there's
a face later,
But it is
after
kind of
she's formed
basic,
more
just
of a
like
bond with
eyes
everybody.
or whatever, I
Yeah,
guess.
No,
I think it's
okay.
after more of those memories have entered into her, and now it's like she's more of a person. But it was just interesting to me, whether that part's there like a meaningful thing or not. The fact that as she's drawing the face, there's pause is kind of a nice little like, ooh,
The
something's
thing
going
that kept
on
baffling me was like all the yellow that was drawn on everybody, like
Yeah, that
yellow
was
throughout
weird.
the robes and yellow all over their mouths, and I was like,
Yeah,
why?
I don't know what that was all
Why?
about.
Why did you do this?
That was definitely very weird.
It also bugged me that Namine looks to be like at least a 12-year-old girl, probably more like 14.
Yeah.
And yet she does a crayon drawing, like a 5-year-old holding a crayon with a
Yeah.
fist.
Yeah.
Like, not that everybody has to be an amazing
Is Jeff's
artist,
mic on?
but like,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I think I'm just being moderately quiet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. You're bottom.
You
mic.
also maybe want to turn it a little bit more toward your. I guess that's kind of right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's
Sorry.
fine.
Sorry. I was
Especially 'cause
just
I'm
like
turning
couldn't.
this
Oh,
way.
that's fair.
often.
That's- yeah, yeah,
I just like couldn't see another line moving, and I was
Yeah.
like, uh oh.
audio magic.
Yeah. No, nothing I say is important, so you can just put peanut butter in my mouth and overdub me with scenes and clips from Kingdom Hearts
there we
3,
go.
and it all
Perfect.
makes sense.
Let's put in voice clips from Ansem.
Yes.
Really fine.
Yep. I'll hide my mouth behind this, and you can just make me say cool things.
Actually, among the things we get to see, we actually get to see Riku's. So most of this is kind of running parallel with. So you got Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2. This runs between those, and you kind of have a little blip right here, which is Chain of Memories,
The
which also
overlap,
kind of
yeah.
goes that way. So they
I don't
run.
know. Kingdom. It's direct into Kingdom Hearts 1 from 2, like Chain of Memories. It's
Well, yeah,
pretty-
it follows immediately after 1, but it doesn't go all the way to 2. There's a year-long gap between those.
No, Chain of Memories goes direct from 1 to 2. Pretty. It's.
Chain of Memories ends. It literally ends 10 and a half months before
It's
11
you.
and a half
You
months.
get into the egg and like.
And then he sleeps for a year.
You're right, and then I just argued like from Sora's perspective,
Oh,
that is
sure.
absolutely the exact things
Right,
that happen.
but from the
Okay,
perspective
now
of the,
I understand
of
what
the
you're saying.
world,
Yeah.
that's not the case. A
All right,
year
sure,
passes and other things
358 over
happen.
2 is the other half of the stuff that happens.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the point being, so you have these kind of fairly parallel stories, but then Riku is the only one that is the common. Like he
That's
is, I guess
fair.
Axel also.
Common
Riku,
thread.
Axel, and Namine are the common thread between those,
Yeah.
where you actually get to see
And Riku's
what
the only one
Riku.
through all of the games, really.
Yeah, you actually get to see what Riku does after
Yeah.
he discovers his connection to the darkness.
And it gets a
The
little bit more
darkness.
explained.
Yeah. You actually get to see his full like unleashing of his dark powers that leaves him looking like Ansem for a little while, and then in Kingdom Hearts 2 they just kind of go, oh, actually I'm fine again.
He
Yeah.
recovers with
He
the power of
fixed it.
friendship.
They didn't really
didn't
make
heart
that.
friendship.
I think he said Mickey helped him.
I think
No,
Mickey,
it was like Sora and Kairi believing in him or something.
Yeah. I don't remember them making a huge deal of it in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like,
It was like Sora and Kairi believed in him so hard that like he became Riku again or
No,
something
well,
dumb.
it was a
I-
big deal for a minute, but like,
I think Mickey helped him kind of rein himself back in.
yeah.
But
I
he
would
didn't
believe that.
he didn't untransform from bad guy into actual Riku. We're not bad guy from like edgelord
Ansem look.
into Riku until Sora and Kairi shared their heart power
Yeah.
with his darkness.
Yes.
It was like he was like kind of a bad guy in Kingdom Hearts 1, and then like Chain of Memories was
Yeah,
him
he
being
was-
like, "Oh, I was a douche canoe. I'm
was
gonna
like a
not
rival
be a douche
character.
canoe anymore."
Yeah.
And then like it's like
He
him
was-
dealing with all of his bad choices in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess we kind of leaned into the how it connects everything. It's kind
Sorry.
of hard to separate them though.
It's hard to separate.
I
them.
guess I guess we kind of did the thing though of like the movie. There's not a lot to talk about it as a piece of media.
Yeah.
it's not a great as a piece of
Yeah,
media,
it's-
unfortunately.
Its utility is as a bridge between three other stories,
very much.
which it does okay with.
And again, my other point, Kingdom Hearts, aside from 1, is generally very bad at encapsulating stories.
yeah,
Everything happens in this complex web, for better or for worse. I'm not saying that's bad or it's good, but for better or for worse, there is a very interconnected nature of all these stories.
yeah,
And it is very difficult to play a game and be told that there are things you don't know in so many different places, and to backfill a lot of that information, to like, you know, reach into the old game and be like, you know, that thing that didn't make sense, now it does.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, you can do enough. You can do some of that. I'm not saying that that's you know, a bad thing.
It feels a little like excuse writing after a while, where you realize, oops, shit, we kind of left
Yeah,
a hole
quick,
here.
quick.
Let's fill that really quickly.
People have been asking about what this character's deal is forever, and we actually forgot to write something.
Yeah. Quick,
Like,
they actually were this the whole time.
yes, yep. And like again,
Just
I'm not
a
saying
little.
it's a bad or a good thing about the interconnected web of the games, but it is very hard to consider 358 over 2, especially in this weird movie format, to consider that one isolated piece of media, because it super isn't.
Yeah.
There's
It's
so
not
many
written
things,
that way.
questions that are answering in the game that weren't even asked in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Things that come out and little pieces of information that you're like, oh shit, that's relevant to this. And I bring this up and I'm feeling strongly about this point largely because I watched somebody do like the beginning of a Kingdom Hearts 2 critical speed run recently.
Oh, yeah.
And after having finished 358 over 2, watching the streams and stuff, and what I watched of that, on second viewing, the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, especially when you're in Twilight Town and
Yep.
stuff, with Roxas and Dog Street,
that first
and
week.
Camo
Yes.
Friend and Oulette or whatever her name was.
Oulette, yeah.
And the
Oulette?
girl,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I remembered it. That was good. It was the first name I got. That became a lot more illuminated because of 358 over 2.
Yes.
But it sucks to have that illumination come from a completely separate game with a very different structure.
I think I would have been a lot more okay with it if they'd been like Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, 358 over 2, Kingdom Hearts 2. Like if they'd been released in that order, it would have been
The-
like awesome, great.
The trouble there is, and this is the kind of the trick when you're trying to write with a mystery, is
Where does
358
it
over
get
2.
revealed?
Yeah, 358 over 2. Among other things, it spoils the nature of Roxas's ties with the darkness. That get like, oh, it's a mystery in 2, but you just know how it works in that. You know that Mickey's out, like that Mickey and Rico are like fully out, though I guess you get that from Chain of Memories, but you also know everything about Roxas at that point. Like,
yeah.
Because at the start of 2, you just play as Roxas with no context at all.
I
You're just
hate
like, who
how
the
long
fuck?
they do that, though. It is
It
like
is a little long.
aggressively long amounts of you
Yeah.
just play as Roxas.
The like 2-3 hours of that is like, okay, this is a bit much. An hour is fine, but 2-3 is a little
There's
much.
just so long where you're like, who is this character? Why do I care? What's going on with my game?
And like
it's like 10 hours.
It's interesting because in the first maybe
All right,
10 or
slight
15 minutes, they give you a couple plot hooks, but then they leave it alone.
Yeah,
'Cause
they leave it
the-
alone
yeah,
until
and
day
then you
7.
just kind of
Yeah.
sit there going, well, I
On,
hope
like,
stuff happens.
Yeah.
Day 1 or 2, there's a scene where like Roxas is walking down a inclined path and he bumps into Namine and everybody
Yeah.
else is frozen in time. And he's like, hello?
And you're like,
she's
what?
like, hi, I just wanted to meet you once before, well, you know. And then
Yeah,
like
boom, gone.
walks away
Like-
around a corner, disappears and unfreezes time, and Roxas is like,
It was like, what the hell was
Like,
that?
what just, am I insane?
Which,
Yeah.
to me, having now seen 358/2 and finished Kingdom Hearts 2, now I'm like, oh, interesting. She
Yeah.
like popped in just to kind of be like, oh, this is what you're.
Yeah,
like
I've never
in
actually
person.
really
Yeah.
met
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I've only ever kind of manipulated your life, so
Yeah.
just from the outside. So I, you know, it's interesting that they dropped that early on, and then there's so much time.
Well, the
There is
clearest
so much time.
They never answer like, why did Naminé drop in? How did she know of Roxas ahead of time until you get to the very end of his scenario? And even then, it's not that clear.
Well, so there, it's interesting. The clearest indicator that this really can't be viewed or played in a vacuum is the very beginning and the very end. The very beginning
How so?
opens in the round room with the organization and Xion's introduction, complete with a flashback to Roxas's introduction. You are just thrown directly into some deep
You
lore.
basically
Yes,
have
right.
to have known the previous games and stuff, and that's fair.
Yeah.
And like Sora is a meaningless character to this game
Yes.
until very, very late, and even then you don't
have
really
to
know much
who
about
that
him.
is.
And then at the end of it, you wake up on day 1 of Kingdom Hearts 2 and have a very muted ending, which is sad if you've played Kingdom Hearts 2 because you know that this is Roxas's final week and that
Yeah.
at the end of it, he's going to be fully subsumed back into Sora.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just play this without having played Kingdom Hearts 2 or without knowing anything about Kingdom Hearts 2, you're like, well, that's a weird way. I guess he's
Yeah.
free.
Yeah,
But
did
that's
he
it.
lose his memory?
Well, there's
I
the
don't know
thing.
what's
Yeah.
happening.
I didn't really give a shit about who Roxas was and why he was sad or happy or anything on first playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, now having played 358/2, I get that he's basically been saved from Organization 13 in that
Yeah.
last week where they're like, let's let him be a real kid for
give
a
him-
week.
Give him a week. Give him some time
Yep.
with the idea that if we just push the right buttons a little bit here and there, he will eventually, his curiosity about who he is will lead him to
Yes.
the simulations version of Sora, and that acceptance of who he is will
Trigger the things we need to happen.
Yeah.
And the idea of him like transforming from a weird child mercenary to like just a kid who lives in the city.
Hanging out
Like,
with my dog street friends.
hanging out on Dog Street.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is an interesting transition, but you never get any of that in the game. And I think it would have been more illuminating.
More meaningful.
Yeah. It would have brought more if I knew that this was Roxas's last week and that he just came from a horrible existence that they really don't want him to remember. They just want him to, like, in the simulation, they want him to experience being a child and a kid and being happy-go-lucky and reconnecting with the Sora element so that at the end he can be absorbed easily without all of these weird Organization
my old
13
organization
shitty
and-
memories.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I guess double sad is that Axel does, I think, show up to try to save him at one point. I want to say like day 3 or 4, Axel actually turns up in the simulation to speak to him, but Roxas doesn't remember him anymore.
Yeah.
Which visibly has an impact on Axel.
Oh yeah,
he seems
Axel
really
is
shaken by
upset.
that.
Yeah.
And I think Diz is the one who... There's another person who's fully hooded. Maybe it's Riku.
I think it's Diz.
Okay.
I mean, Diz is never hooded, but he does have his bandages, right? So
No,
like,
there's-
When this is a full-on...
There's definitely a point where I think there is, where he's wearing the full hood to walk around in the simulation.
Oh, that's right.
And then when he's out of the simulation, he takes it off.
and you see the bandages.
No,
Yeah.
I lied. No, that is Riku, because I think I remember even when we played Kingdom Hearts 2, here's Diz, and it's like, oh, okay, that's Ansem. And then the hood comes off, and that's also Ansem. And it's like, wait, what? But that's Riku as Ansem. Like he's absorbed by darkness.
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
point.
We were very baffled. I remember that.
So was a lot to
it
kinda-
may actually be Riku
I think it's Riku,
in the
yeah.
hooded figure who stops Axel from like really doing much
Yeah.
interaction with Roxas, but
It does thankfully give a bit more depth to Axel, which is nice because he was clearly already the most fleshed out organization member before
he's
anyway.
the coolest member of Organization 13.
He's the hot guy. It's just how it is.
Well, he also like
he's kind of a
seemed-
nice dude, and he's complex.
It's also nice when you have, villains or anti-heroes or anti-villains or whatever that are affable. Like he's a very approachable and friendly sort of demeanor to him, even if he's trying to kill you.
Sure.
So when you then follow that up with he is probably also all jacked up on the fact that not only did he lose both of his best friends, he only remembers one of them, but that best friend is now absorbed into
and
the guy
kind of
he's got to
gone.
kill.
Yeah, that he's supposed to be trying to stop.
Yeah, and who doesn't remember him at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a complex pile of emotions to sort of throw in there.
They also kind of dropped a thing kind of subtly in the movie with Discount Sephiroth being all, hey there, Leah, or whatever.
Lee, yeah.
Lee, yeah,
The-
Lea
it's
for
the first-
Axel. And it's like so, and he makes all these references to like real friendship and fake friendship
Yeah,
and other
yeah.
things. And I'm like, did they know each other before? Did
I
they
think-
like have a past together? Like what's going on
I think
there?
that line was meant to indicate who do you really care more about, your make-believe friendship with Xion, who is a replica, or your real friendship with Roxas, who is living, I guess, sort of, who is an actual
He kept changing his mind on which one he wanted, though. He wanted
yeah.
the replica, and then he wanted Roxas, and then he wanted the replica.
which,
I don't know. I
which
didn't
I
like,
think is a credit to his character. That
Yeah.
it maybe made the plot a little more
it
confusing.
made it confusing
but-
to me, and I was irritated by that.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole goal of Organization 13, so far as the members who weren't in control of the group considered, the point was to get hearts for Kingdom Hearts so
Yep.
that then they could have hearts and become real.
yes.
Right?
Yeah, they were
I
like, we
didn't-
want to feel
yeah.
stuff.
So the whole thing is that yes, Lee might be the nobody, or Axel is the nobody of a real person named Lee, but it doesn't make Axel less of a being.
Yep.
It's just the whole way that they kind of brought in all of these Organization 13 members to do shit is we have to do some bad stuff and do some weird arcane magic science. But
Magic
if you
science.
guys all listen to me, then we can all get hearts and become real ass people instead of being weird half copies.
I think we need to enter the chapter of the discussion that I'm going to title Organization 13, the indoctrination cult.
Yeah.
Because this gave so many. Yeah, it was right there. It was off the top of the screen. You guys missed it. But
it's floating. Yeah. Oh, that's really unfortunate.
It looks really
Yeah,
impressive.
the
though.
letters you did are super
Thank
dope.
you. I spent a long time on that font.
Yeah.
I'm going to punch you in the dick.
Anyway,
soon.
Well, that's unfortunate.
So it didn't occur to me as much the first time through while playing the game, but the second time
Really?
through, because this was over the course of 10 weeks.
I guess
and playing.
No, I know. I guess I don't know. I guess I feel like I've had that thought about Organization 13 before.
Well, this one-
less intense, I suppose.
Yeah, this one
but
really gets so.
this really hammers it home.
You have an organization where one person has absolute power, which is Xemnas.
Yeah.
You're bringing in members, some of whom were with you from the start, some of whom were added later. Right from the beginning, you insist to them that you do not have emotions. You do not have the capacity for emotions.
Like
Yes.
no one, you're a nobody that has no heart, so therefore
Yeah.
you can't feel things.
And it gets repeated over and over again, despite the fact that the vast majority of this organization visibly emotes.
Yeah. Constantly are
they
interacting
are constantly
in emotional ways.
feeling
Yeah.
things.
Including, okay, fine, if we don't count Roxas and we don't count Xion because of their specialness, Axel definitely emotes.
Yep.
Axel's an angry boy all the time.
Demick seems to emote a bit.
Didn't they
there is
literally
that.
say on Demix's title card thing for the thing passionate?
Yeah,
Something like
passion
that.
is something you would need emotion.
I really want to go back and look at that still because I bet it says has feelings.
Yeah.
And it's wait a minute.
But so there's that, and if you repeat something enough, people will eventually believe it, no matter what, really. So if
Brains
you
are
keep telling
dumb.
them, if you keep telling someone you have no emotions, they're like, oh, I guess I don't have
Maybe
any
I'm
emotions.
not I don't have any emotions.
But then, there's also this promise of if you get all the hearts, we'll build Kingdom Hearts, and then you'll all get hearts, and then you can go back to being people. isn't that
then you'll
nice?
all be real. Yeah.
It's the promise of something that's never going to come to keep someone on the hook forever.
So I definitely
They punish insubordination very severely.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like you just insta die.
Yeah.
You were saying that, there's a cultish feel, indoctrination feel. Like, I got some of that from the feeling, and there was a great element of it. But, like, to me, it was a little less, like, I don't know how to put this.
A little less culty.
Well, the leader was promising them salvation.
Yes.
He was promising them
Existence.
basically a real, true existence to leave purgatory or
Which
to
I don't
escape
get,
hell or whatever it is.
because we still don't have an inclination, an indication of what stops them from just having a life aside from the fact that they're part of this organization.
Yes.
Like, is there a reason that they couldn't go out and just be people?
So that is my big question about the whole cult thing.
Yeah.
Is that it's not like they were lied to and told that if they stepped outside of the Organization
The
13
building, they'd dissolve,
they would explode, like, and nobody tried it, and like it's one point Roxas is like, we could run away, and Axel's like, where would we run? And I'm like, I don't know, that way.
Yeah,
like,
somewhere.
go over there, the ocean keeps going, get a boat.
Yeah.
I
don't know,
mean, Roxas kind of like tried to run away, and then he was like, I'm so dumb. Where would I even go? And it's like, I don't know. Take
just
the train?
pick a direction and leave.
Like, there's a train that comes through this town regularly.
Because ostensibly, yes, they are nobodies, but they're operating in the real ass world.
It's like, I
Yeah.
understand
That's
that you
the
don't
real
necessarily
Twilight
have any
Town.
money, but like, you could fix that.
I don't know. You could
I don't know.
literally fight bears in the woods for cash. It's so
Yeah.
easy. Like, you have magic powers, basically.
Fight bears in the wood for cash.
I don't know. Then probably somebody wants some bears fought.
I mean, there is literally a big board of like things you can do around town for money.
Yeah.
That's like a
That's
thing
literally
you
the
do.
first thing
There's
you do
like
in Kingdom Hearts
multiple
2.
jobs. You're
Fight
like,
bees.
you know for a fact Roxas
up
can
metal-
fight bees and put up posters.
Oh my
like,
Beat up
God.
metal junk.
like
wallpaper
Roxas,
the city.
He could have wallpapered the city for cash and
Yeah.
gotten on the train and left.
Easy.
Like,
He could have been like, yo, Demix, do you want to make $1 million?
I will
Quick, join my
wallpaper the
bee
city.
fighting wallpaper
in, like,
MLM.
You can fucking fly on your weird guitar thing. You get around the city in 1 second.
I've got my new company. It's called Bee Paper. Boy, you're gonna love the things that we have to do. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna recruit 3 more people to fight bees and put up wallpaper. And if they do that, then you don't have to, and they give you a quarter of what they make. And then if they get
are
3
you
people,
making a pyramid scheme, baby?
Yeah,
Yes.
fucking steal all the organization cult members and indoctrinate them into a pyramid scheme instead.
exactly, perfect.
Perfect.
It'll be a natural transition for them.
So again, there was not like direct ass threats made in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Ass
Obviously,
threats.
when somebody was stupid enough to disobey Discount Sephiroth and then literally go back to his face and he would be
Yeah,
like, did you
holy
disobey
shit.
me? And they'd be like, yep,
Yep.
I did.
Bring
and he'd
it,
be like,
bitch.
and kill them.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're an idiot. Don't
Yes.
do that. But 2, is that immediate threat of death when you're talking to him the only thing that's keeping you there? Because, things seemed all right for the Nobodies. I mean, they never really had people complaining about how hollow of an existence it was and how they didn't get, like, upset that they ate the ice cream and they're like, this should make me happy. It's my favorite thing, but I'm
Yeah.
not happy.
Or I can't taste it, or
Yeah, there was no, like, it just seemed like they were fine, and they listened to the guy because he gave them a cool trench coat.
Yeah.
Gonna give you this sweet jacket, but now you
Where-
get angst.
Where
Yeah.
did Mickey get his fucking trench coat? Because it's been
Right,
told
and
to
it's
us
custom.
this game does the game version explicitly, I think, stated that like the coat is what protects them when they travel through these portals through the darkness.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
and that's why those are important
Yeah.
because now Mickey and Riku can also use those portals because they're protected while passing through.
Yeah.
So
And that's why they can rip from place to place, and Sora can't just be like,
Got it.
I want to know who makes these generally.
Mm-hmm.
Who made the one that Riku got? Because, I mean, he could have stolen one, but that would have been obvious.
Yep.
But who the fuck made the one that Mickey's wearing? Who makes one that's like, all right, I need a jacket, but it's for like a 5-year-old baby?
and don't forget the giant mouse ear
It's for
slots.
We got to, yeah. Can you put pockets on the head.
This particular baby likes
With
to take 2 dinner
discs.
plates
Yeah.
and hold dinner plates on its head.
Or like a laser disc, or maybe some CDs. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't checked what they want to. Big circles. Just put big circle pockets if you could.
It's going to be so cool.
It's gonna be really good. I promise. Yeah, I don't understand where that.
It boggles me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to tie up my point, there's so much that is left unclear about why a lot of these Organization 13 members are in there. But the only thing that really rang true to me on this watching of 358 over 2 was like, oh, it's the Messiah thing. Discount Sephiroth is like, I can lead you back to salvation, to
The
real
promised land.
human.
I will be your savior.
I will replace your soul. I will save you. And nobody else knows how to go about doing that, so they're just like, fuck, I don't know.
Yes, I will.
This is the best thing. But again, in a lot of cases, people are constantly like, this sucks. I can't believe we're doing all these stupid missions, and I hate Organization 13.
So why
Like,
can't you quit?
Walk out the fucking door.
Or I guess so they didn't get into this, unfortunately, because it is the prelude to a battle. But as Roxas decides he's leaving the world that never was, he does have a battle with Cyax in the game.
Yeah.
And Cyax, so Cyax is just standing there. Roxas walks up because he's getting ready to leave, and I think it was the very first thing that Cyax says is, "This organization doesn't accept resignations," and draws his Keyblade, and it's like, okay, so not that it would have been hard to guess, but it's pretty clear that it's like, you work for us or I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
But the trick is, it's like, okay, there has to be some way that they could get away.
I feel like there's also a certain point, like if 6 of you leave.
I think Xemnas is implied to be powerful enough, especially if he's got Cyax or a few others with him. Xemnas is probably powerful enough on his own to kill all of them, even if they attacked him together. Like, I think that's the implication.
Okay, I guess that's fair, I guess.
And I mean, again, they also, sure, maybe they could just dark portal to anywhere in the world and somehow magically know where they are on the Earth.
Yeah.
And dark portal to right in front of them and stab them. But like, that was not
I don't think
stated.
they can do that though, because I think
that was
too,
the thing that never
You
happened.
can only go to particular spots through the dark portal things.
I want to say in Kingdom Hearts 2 that actually forms one of the plot points is that what's left of the organization can't find Axel, that he's gone off the radar. He's gone off the grid
they're looking for him
with Kyrie at one point.
Yeah.
And Pluto, but. Yeah, at one point he grabs Kyrie, they go off the grid entirely, and one of the major issues is that nobody knows where Axel is, and therefore they don't know where Kyrie is either.
And to be fair, when all the other people were dead, there was no like, let's go see if we can teleport to them with our tracker beam. It was like, guess they're all gone. Haven't seen them around.
Which also kind of explains too, now that I think about it, this game, aside from like, there were already interactions with Roxas and Axel that didn't have explanation in Kingdom Hearts 2 that get explained in this, like that thing that went on in I can't remember the name of that area that's in the world that never was, or I keep calling the castle the world that never was, but that's wrong. I think the castle has its own name.
The world that never was is the big
Castle
cityscape.
Oblivion, isn't it? Or
No, Castle Oblivion's
the other place.
Yeah, doesn't matter. But like when they're in the city,
Yeah.
they have that interaction where it's like, you can't just leave, they'll kill you, and it's like, who'd miss me? I'd miss you, and like you just kind of know. Oh, so that's our exposition that these two are friends. This game actually works all the way up to like, here's why they're friends and how they're friends.
Yeah.
And that
And
line
why
lands a
you
lot
actually
harder.
care, yeah.
Yeah, it lands a lot more when Axel's like, my best friends are about to just like let themselves get killed.
Both of my best friends are now basically dead, and I can't do anything about it.
And like you get that nice backfilled information, but it kind of explains why Axel is seems to have an entirely new set of like priorities in 2, where he does not seem to be aligned at all with the organization. Like he's gone totally rogue at this point. So this does help fill out some of that information. I wish that it wasn't so not even spoilery, but like it reduces the mystery of in 2 by doing 358 over 2 first. Because there's parts of it that form more of the nuance of like, ooh, what is this all about? Why is Axel so bent out of shape, and why is he so like?
I don't know. I feel like the
the
story makes more sense though. Like you get all of the pieces. I don't know.
It's tough though when you're trying to do a story where you're revealing information and learning more. It's hard to do things sequentially without losing some of that.
I get it. It feels too dependent.
The franchise
on it.
seems to want to reveal things from Sora's perspective first, and then flush out the details afterwards. as you
just
go,
don't
like the main
necessarily
perspective
agree
is
it's the
Sora.
best way to tell
The
the
problem
story.
is that the whole series, it trades on this concept of memories can be tangible, real connections that exist in an alternate dimension of memory that connects us, and you can forget things that you always known, but at the same time you still know them deep down in your heart, but you can never know them consciously. And it's like, so how do we know what we know, when we know it, if it's real? There's too much vagueness. Like, we've gone past the point of mystery and intrigue to, like, I don't know what's going on.
That's called we don't want to have to define it, so we can do whatever the fuck we want with it later.
One of the hardest.
I agree, drives me crazy.
Write your way out of the paper bag later.
One of the hardest things to grapple with in this series so far is the fact that they've taken the real world idea of a memory and they've altered it for the sake of this universe, which is fine. It's totally fine to have like a new standard. So memories in the real world, you have a memory of an event, other people can forget it or remember it, and they're not related at all.
Right.
In the world of Kingdom Hearts, a memory is bidirectional. It is a shared experience, and that connection is the memory itself. So if Namine goes, oh, remember that, Xion doesn't... Xion's a special case. That's a bad example, but you can pull a memory out and both people forget about it, which is why Sora loses his memories over the course of chain of memories. And at the end of that, and going into the start of Kingdom Hearts 2, Kairi also doesn't remember Sora or the adventures of the first game because the memory was a tangible connection that was taken away.
Yes. Well,
together.
Yes, but also no, because she does remember Sora. She says to Yuffie?
I think it was Yuffie.
The thing is, she doesn't remember him with any clarity. She just like vaguely
remembers
remembers
that-
like a boy I used to hang out with.
yeah.
or
She's like,
something.
do you remember the two boys that I used to hang out with? And then Yuffie's like, you mean the one, Riku? And she's like, no, the one who isn't Riku, the other one who like had brown hair and he was always really sweet to me. And Yuffie's like, I don't know fucking who you're talking about. I've never met
Crazy bitch,
a person and you've only ever had one male friend, I guess, in your whole entire life.
Well, think about it this way. Here's what it seems like how it works is, imagine if you catapulted a spoonful of soup onto your leg.
All right, this analogy, I'm already
and then
intrigued.
you started to clean it off.
you.
You started to clean it. You get rid of as much soup as you can.
Did Jeffrey spill soup
So the
on
soup
himself
is gone.
recently?
The
No,
soup is
Sarah.
gone. But there's little tiny bits of it that are still there that remind you there was something there.
Okay.
But there's no soup there. You can't look at it and go, oh, it's soup. You just go, what the hell was that?
So after having kicked soup onto myself, I might look into the bowl and say, there should be more soup there.
Yeah.
I feel like the
There's
spoon
something
floated
missing.
higher in the bowl.
Something's not there. Like it's a negative space
Yeah.
where there should be just continuous stuff.
Continuous soup.
But the whole
it's like how we detect black holes. We look into space and go, there should be like space there.
A lot of stuff over there.
Yeah, and then we go, oh, never mind. So I guess that's a black hole then, and we do it with pretty alarming accuracy, actually. So
Well, I like your soup analogy.
Thank
I don't
you.
know where you came up with it.
It just
It's
came off the top of my head.
kind of an interesting.
it was like jumping up and forward and having a eureka moment.
Just kind of like you
It just
I feel like
hit
Jeff
me.
should
You
just
got
be
kicked
turning
right in
around
the
and
soup?
hitting you.
Yeah, right in the
with
soup.
the idea.
It just hit me like in the brain or the leg.
Yes. Yeah, alternately the foot as well as the pants
foot
and
too.
the floor and the cat. Don't kick soup, kids. Okay.
Especially
but-
not onto cats, because then you have to wash them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they do it themselves. The definition of losing or retaining a memory is very vague because again,
They very much want to be able
it's
to do
not
what they
just
want.
that Kairi realizes / remembers that she's forgot something. She has some very detailed shit about it. She's like, it was a boy.
Yep.
We used to hang out on that island. He was nice to me, but I can't remember just his name.
Yeah.
And like throughout the whole game, 2 specifically, before Kairi and any of them actually connect, she talks with a bunch of people, including Axel, I believe.
Yes.
And
yep.
he's like, "Oh, you're still looking for him?" And she's like, "Who's the boy? What's his name? I
She's
need
like,
a
you
name.
know I'm looking, yeah.
Please tell him the name." And I'm like, "So you know kind of most about him. You just don't
I think
remember his name." And it's not like hearing the name makes her be like, "Whoa, Like, I
mean,
remember everything.
That could be what she thinks would happen. Like, if I just remember his name, then I can, like, oh, Sora, right. And he had blue eyes, and he had, we played and had seashells.
Maybe.
And, like, maybe that's the idea, is, like, one
Maybe
solid
she thinks
memory.
that would happen, yeah.
It's
Or
just,
she could ask more people about him, too.
I
guess.
love-
That's true, right? You actually have a name.
I love complicated, like, weird interactions and crazy mental, like,
Yeah.
gymnastics. And the idea, I actually love the idea of, like, two people existing in the real world, but then they're, like, shadows, which are basically a nobody, that are still them, but not really them, existing in a different world, but still ending up being friends because those two souls are, like, they work together and stuff. But the problem is I like rules. And that
That makes sense.
Yes, where, okay, if your shadow person goes into the netherworld and then they get killed, it hurts you, but it doesn't kill you, but you do lose the memories that they had, but you can also fuse with your shadow person and gain the memories. But, like, so many times it's just like, and this time it worked. Or, like...
Because of the power of heart
they
friendship.
said that it would do this, but this time he didn't die. Or, you know, those things like that. There's too many moments where
Oh
I'm
my
like, oh,
God.
the plot needs this to happen.
Yep.
Actually, you know what I'm realizing, too? I'm just kind of, like, putting together the timeline in my head a little bit. I want to say there was some vague implication that the reason Sora started to wake up was because he started to remember Kairi. Like, his memories of Kairi were coming back, which would result from Xion, you know, vanishing. Because that was... her personality was derived from Sora's memories of Kairi. And if that's the moment where Kairi suddenly is like, hey, wait a second, who was that boy? And these memories are a bidirectional thing. That could also imply that these memories are slowly returning to Kairi also. Like,
Oh,
she's
and, like,
getting
that's
a piece
why
of
she's
that, too.
remembering?
Yeah, like, maybe she's starting to, like, out of nowhere for the first time in a year, she's like, who was that kid? Wait a minute.
He had blue eyes.
Yeah.
I still can't remember his name.
Right, but, like,
Yeah,
because
but
the
I did
memories are
know
still
him.
struggling, and, like, because they were gone for that long, maybe the idea is that they're not quite complete for her until they
Sure.
actually meet again. Sorry, I feel like that was a tangent, but it was also just kind of like, wait a second, the timeline of this and that line up.
And that's
so.
the thing is, it's like,
does
that
make a lot
would
of
be a
sense.
legitimate logical explanation, but why don't they just fucking, like, talk about these things?
Yeah.
It's hard when you're backfilling information without going, here's an epilogue that walks across the entire Kingdom Hearts 2 to explain I would be willing to bet, like, Recoded will probably dip into that a little bit, and Kingdom Hearts 3 I suspect will seal up a lot of the stuff that came before it while going forward, but I don't know.
What was the point of making Xion?
They wanted to copy the stuff away from Roxas?
Yeah, Vexen was building a number of replicas. One of them got used as a replica of Riku,
But
and one of them got used as a replica with the specific intention of absorbing, essentially, either A. So the original intent was to create a replica that could absorb or copy the ability to use a Keyblade. That was the number one. Yeah.
the point of it was to make something that would chain Roxas's soul to the Nobody, not let him regain his memories as Sora, because they knew that Sora was in the time egg.
Yes,
And
that was a side effect though.
I'm
They
glad that
actually
we've all
mentioned-
agreed on the name
I
for
thought the
that.
side
At the
effect.
time, yeah.
I thought the side effect was that she started slurping up his Keyblade powers and literally taking his strength. And then at the end, they were like, "At this point, it doesn't effing matter if Sora wakes up at this point if our weird copy thing steals all of his power."
I could have
'Cause
sworn it was the other way.
The whole point of Organization 13 was trying to keep Sora from waking up.
Yeah.
Try to keep his Nobody split from his real
Yeah,
heart.
I think
Try to
that
make
was
his,
their original intent based on what they were talking about with the memory stuff.
But they very quickly go into the like, wait, she's actually a capable fighter and can make a Keyblade and all that stuff. And I think as you go on through 358 over 2, the position changes, that it's no longer just to keep Sora chained into this Nobody and he'll never wake up, but now we can literally steal all of Sora's power and use this our pawn kind of thing.
Maybe I thought that it was Keyblade first because Keyblade means that they can collect hearts.
Yes.
And if they can have something that's not directly anchored to Sora the way Roxas is, like Roxas is slightly vulnerable by virtue of being anchored to Sora so directly.
Yeah.
If Roxas dies, there's no byway for those memories to go back from Xion
Yeah.
to Sora. So like,
And not only that,
he's
if
gone.
Roxas realizes that he is part of Sora,
Yeah.
and should really just
Go
close his
be
eyes and
Sora,
unabsorb into
Yeah.
Sora,
Mhm, mhm.
then they're fucked because then
Yes.
Sora wakes up at
and then
full
that's
power.
that's it. And then like, well, shit. And that's basically what happens with 2 is a week into Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora wakes up and the organization's like, well, fuck. All right, back to square one. Let's
Shit.
take him down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that it was Keyblade first because it had an immediate utility, and then it got brought up somewhere around half to 2/3 of the way through. There was like the side effect has been that this is actually forming an anchor with Sora, and she's absorbing his memories and his powers.
I think that was more Nominee realizing that was what was happening.
It's
Well, there was a
entirely
Roundtable discussion
possible
about it,
it's
but I could
either
be-
way
yeah,
around.
I could have it backwards, but
yeah, because all
Yeah,
I
who
all I
knows?
remember is that when she could use the Keyblade at the
Yeah.
first, everyone was surprised. Axel and Roxas, and they were like, "Let's not tell the rest of the
Yeah.
organization yet because this is pretty like crazy." And then eventually they revealed it, and I think that's when Discount Sephiroth was like, "Oh wait, if she's just stealing the powers and she can use a Keyblade, then what the
Yeah.
fuck are we messing around with Sora for? She can just get the hearts."
I guess that's true. Well, she also was having trouble with it for a while, and then got it back more definitively.
Again,
but
this.
but he also
motion
helped
of
Yeah, that was
disguise that.
he did. Yeah, he
like
helped her hide
the
it for a
main
while,
organization never really knew about that, so like they
or at
didn't
least
know.
pretended to.
They
but
didn't know
probably
that-
did.
Well, I
She
don't think
lost
the
her
major,
powers,
like
yeah.
Axel knew, but I don't think everybody else really knew.
Yeah.
Axel's not gonna go snitch.
Oh, well, that's what we thought.
He didn't snitch that off.
I want to try doing
that
it.
often.
I want to see how many you guys can get. How many organization members can you guys name?
I have to do real names.
Oh gosh, wait, and
I'll
like
count.
Okay.
There's 14.
Zigbar,
Yep.
Xemnas,
Yep.
Xion,
Mhm.
Roxas,
Yep.
Axel,
Mhm.
Marluxia,
Yep.
Larxene,
Yep.
Luxord.
Dexter.
Luxord is
Derek's?
Luxord is one.
Luxord is the guy is Hulk Hogan, right?
Yes.
What's
Yeah.
the sitar
Demis?
player? Derek's.
Demix.
Demex. There it is.
They're doing pretty good.
We got Marluxia. We got
Got that.
Larxene. Hi Zima.
Fluff, fluff.
Yeah.
Are we missing
I love
dudes?
you,
Oh,
yeah.
who's Shogun?
No, that's Zigbar.
Nope, that's not
No,
Zigbar.
no,
No,
the Japanese guy who shows up.
Zaldin.
Zaldin.
Zaldin, thank you.
10. It's 4 more to go.
Oh
if you can get 'em.
man.
Whoop. Hi, poof
I'm
butt.
curious if you guys can get them.
Oh God.
I just wanted to start Landsax.
Vexine.
Vexen?
Vexen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a real one.
There's 3 more.
Wait, I thought that was 10 before.
That was 10
Yeah,
before, so
but
that's
so
11.
there's 14 counting Xion and Roxas.
right,
Yeah.
because Xion's not technically one of the
I
13.
definitely know at least one of them off the top of my head.
Oh God, the 3 that we have left.
Yep. Sam, are you clawing my leg?
In happiness. I love you.
So cute.
All right.
Yeah, she's my pearl.
I'll give you like 10 more seconds.
Sorry, I am thinking.
Klaxon?
No.
Snarkscene.
No.
X-ray.
No. Snark scene is great, though. I like that.
Scene.
Right.
Alex, but with like 2
Lucia?
X's at the end instead of just one.
No. The one that comes to mind for me, at least, is Zexion, who's the book guy.
Oh wait, I thought we said Zexion. Did we
No.
not say Zexion? Shit.
Nope. And the other 2 totally escape my memory, and I think those were also issues during the... You said Zaldin, I think.
Yeah,
Zaldin,
that
yes,
was
it
the
says
one who
Zaldin.
didn't appear until the
We
effing
said Zaldin
very
and
end.
Zigbar and
Yeah.
the other ones like that. I think the problem was like there was just 6 members that just like didn't really. You saw them
they
in
were
the
in Chain of
title
Memories.
cards.
Oh,
Who was Side Shave Mullet Kid?
yeah.
that was Demix.
Blonde Side Shave Mullet Kid was Demix?
That's Demix.
Okay,
Wait,
that's
with
what
the
I thought.
sitar, really?
Yep, that was
Oh.
Demix. Was it Lexius was the ramen head,
Oh, yeah.
Big
I
boy
don't think
ramen
we
head.
mentioned
Oh,
that.
Lexus.
and then
yeah.
there was a blue hair person, I think, and I don't remember their
blue
name.
hair person that wasn't discount the Sephiroth.
You mean Syx?
Saix.
Yeah, there we go. That's
Saix.
14.
Can't believe we forgot
We forgot
Saix.
For some reason,
Saix.
I'm just like sitting there going like, oh, you guys already said Saix, I'm pretty sure.
Nope.
No.
We said it 22 times before because his name is fun to say.
Yes, and I think
We
the
kept
blue hair.
making fun of how much fun it was to say, but then I didn't actually store it as like being blue hair guy.
I think
like,
the blue hair guy I was thinking of was actually Xion, who has grayish black hair, not blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there we go.
Well,
All right,
wasn't
you
too
guys didn't do
bad.
bad there. You got 12. No, you got
12 and a half.
You got 11, and then one of them I don't know how we got missed
Saix, yeah.
missed there with Saix, but yeah. Lexius shows up for all of like 2 minutes.
Yep.
Now, if we could go through and actually match their names with like their major weapon thing that they use, I'd be crazy impressed.
Man, they
I'd
could
have a
I
hard
have.
time
don't
with
think we
that,
can.
They
Yeah.
could have cut 3 fucking organization members and called it Organization X.
Organization, yeah, X, yeah.
Because of the X's in their names.
It was actually named
would've
that
been a
way
good
because
one.
it was originally Organization 3 before they became Nobodies.
X3. They're X Organization 3, so Organization 13. I do
I
not
can't tell
buy
if you're
it.
serious or not.
Maybe I am.
Je refuse.
How am I to know? Do we have any last thoughts
I feel like
on this?
that's
I feel like
just
we're
as good
kind
of a
of.
guess as anything.
I feel like we should start wrapping this one.
Okay.
Wrapping this one down.
Fair. Overall, I liked watching this format.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of it more clear.
I think it was not the best game for this format, but
Yeah.
like a lot of times I'll watch speed runs of games and then kind of stop paying attention when they're grinding or attempting to like
Yeah.
you know do this glitch 27 times in a row
Right.
to generate 1,000 million gold.
Mhm.
But it's fun for me to see the story beats happen that quickly in a row. It's adorable. It's,
Yes.
it's
Yeah, she's
doing
just chomping at my fingers.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's
Oh my
so
God.
cute.
Just chomp, chomp.
It's really fun to see the story beats back to back to back to back,
Yes.
because honestly in a lot of RPGs you don't get that.
Yeah, and you just
Like-
like I gotta
that's
remember
what
this
I
thing
was
from 10 hours
complaining
ago.
about earlier. It's like exactly you have to remember everything that was happening from 10 hours ago,
Yep.
and it works when you've got a much like bigger sort of story with like not no complexity, but like the level of secret characters and secret shadowy figures that all
Yeah.
look basically the same.
Oh yeah.
The
and,
200
like, have
pages
similar
of reading.
voices.
Yes.
And, like
Mhm,
there are
mhm.
definitely times when Kingdom Hearts expects you to know who an Organization 13 member is from their voice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look,
With the
they
same
all have
exact
distinct
hoods
voices,
and-
sure, but like I have to fucking listen to them
Right.
directly.
Well,
to know
some of
who's
them
who.
though, it's like they have distinct voices once you've heard their voice while seeing their face.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
it's
like,
hard
give me
to-
something to
They're
store it against.
that guy until
Yeah.
you actually see them clearly.
Whoop, camera died. Why don't we wrap this up right here, I
Okay,
guess.
bye.
Okay,
We,
that works.
Well, no, I mean like very last
Oh, we can
thoughts.
just chat, yeah.
I'll put some
Jumps.
video over this.
So again, this was a fun
Do you
thing
want
to
pets or
watch.
not,
I
Cat?
enjoyed it. I think overall it illuminated a bit more about the series, but it didn't fix Kingdom Hearts in my mind. I'm not like, oh, it all makes sense and it's a beautiful, rich tapestry of
Yeah.
perfectly orchestrated character moves
Yeah.
and arcs of
And nothing
the
was retconned
thing.
anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's not that, but I liked it and it made helped my understanding.
Yeah, I think that's about more or less where I'm at. Yeah.
I think I agree. I don't think it like did anything that was like holy shit, but I liked what it fleshed out. I thought it was good, especially at giving a bit more explanation to Roxas and Axel, as well as kind of showing what Diz and Namine were up to at that time also. And as a closing thought, as we leave you guys, the two things that stuck out to me from earlier about loose ends or things to be explored further. One, just what was the deal with that pauldron, that shoulder pauldron that Xion was wearing
yes,
when looking like
Xion,
Roxas?
Roxas.
Yes.
And are we going to see more replicas turn up in the future now that that door is open? Riku was not the only one. Are we going to see more of those turn up? And can anyone be trusted just because they look like something?
Yeah, I feel like memories is going to be a big thing again still.
It may very well be, especially now that there's a whole bunch of different experiences that wormed their way in there. So
Well, I can't wait to get to Kingdom Hearts 3 next.
Yeah, about that.
Wait,
yeah.
aww.